Welcome in. Last video before we kick it out here. I should be going live in a couple of days to talk about the combine. Tomorrow we got offensive linemen that are running. I'm looking at the roster right now for the Niners. Looking at some of the linebackers that the 49ers have. I think there's this Malcolm kid on the one side, and then on the other side, I believe that Eli Harold is on the other side. So he's pretty good. And then Ruben. So, if Tremaine Edmonds is going to come into the mix and you still have Ruben, then your linebackers are great. And then that would make such a difference. The Niners now didn't acquire anybody, so they're relying on Ahkello Witherspoon, to really have a great year. They're requiring Jimmy Reed and Colbert to come in and continue to play well at safety. And it looks like, I think it might be Reed. One of their guys, I think, is leaving. But here's the thing. The Niners' secondary needs to get fixed. You have Brandon Fusco, who's a guard, who's a free agent. Who knows if they're going to re-sign up or not. I love Trent Brown and Joe Staley, really great players. They got Kilgore in there and firmly locked him up. Very nicely done. And then you get Lincoln Tomlinson on the other side, who's just okay. And then, Zane Beadles, who really struggled. So guard, you got to get a guard in this upcoming draft. Then you get Carlos Hyde. You have Matt Breida and Joe Williams. I would like to probably see a running back, unless they're going to re-sign Hyde. And if you re-sign Hyde, you could still go get a running back maybe in the fourth round, maybe take a flyer, like maybe take a Kerryon Johnson or a John Kelly. Then you won't get the Ronald Jones, the Sony Michels, but you could still get a really solid just backup back. And if you don't sign Carlos Hyde, then maybe you go in the second round, you take the running back, and then you take the guard in the third round. But what I was going to say about the combine is it's really going to heat up over the next couple of days. That's when the combine is going to get absolutely spectacular. When we start seeing throws, and I want the NFL Network too to show full interview clips, or full interviews. With these prospects, it's hard to find the prospect interviews like online on a website. It's hard to find prospect interviews. You could find the coaches and the general managers interviews on Rams or Niners or Titans.com. You can go ahead and do that and watch the 20 minutes, which is beautiful, which I've been taking advantage of. But in terms of the prospects interviewing, since they're not really on a team, it's hard to get their full presser from the podium, and then everybody else is on the podium during their same media time. It just would be nice to kind of see that. And then during the combine too, as we're going to be watching it, they're going to cut us out sometimes. Like they're going to cut out eventually when they're doing the throwing drills, and they'll go back to studio and talking about some meaningless bullshit, and they'll cut you out when you're trying to watch something pretty of substantial value. But real big news kind of today is that Tavon Austin is pretty much going to be traded or released from the Rams. I think his contract is awful, so that's why I don't know if he's going to have a lot of suitors or what's going to happen there. I think his contract is really bad. Like I think it might be $12 million or something. A really poor contract, almost the same as like an Allen Hurns type of bad contract or Charles Clay contract. It's really high. But you look, or like the Packers have huge contracts for their wideouts too. You look at Tavon Austin, and I know that they experimented him at running back, but Tavon's going to have to go to a team. He's going to have to be Nelson Aguilar. He's going to have to go to a place where he can step in and be a slot guy, and he's going to have to define and own that slot, be like a Cole Beasley type of guy. Unfortunately, now you got Cooper Kupp, you got Woods and Watkins, you got all these guys, and it'll be interesting because now Tavon's leaving, so that tells you the Rams want to sign Watkins, but it's not going to be easy to sign Watkins either. So you might be trotting out Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Gerald Everett, Pharaoh Cooper, as your, Tyler Higbee. as your guys, without a Sammy Watkins, a premier kind of receiver. So I look at Tavon, and where I'd want to see Tavon go is Tavon could go to Arizona, will learn from John Brown. Tavon Austin could go to the Jets, though, if they get Kirk Cousins. Then you could plug Tavon in the slot because they don't really have a lot of receivers there. So Tavon's going to get some big reps, and he's going to be working with Kirk Cousins. What Tavon needs to do is a lot of times Tavon, has always, kind of it's just been a reputation of his that he hasn't always gotten necessarily in along or in tune with the offensive coordinator and what they want to do. A lot of times you might complain about his role. The thing about Tavon is he needs to go and be selfless here. Take less money and go to a place. Take a pay cut and go to a place where he will be utilized in the slot, not as an outside receiver. I don't think he's big enough to be an outside receiver. He's not the burner to be an outside receiver. But get him on the inside, make him run talented routes, make him run a lot of post from the inside, a lot of post, when especially when they have middle of the field safeties open, just have Tavon burn people. And just have quarterbacks lob it up, and he could be a weapon in the slot. So I'm hoping for the best for Tavon, but for him, I think the Jets and wherever Kirk goes will be the best. The Jets, especially a team with not a lot of wide receivers or weaponry at all. You could also look at a place like Chicago. I think Chicago of Mitchell Trubisky with Matt Nagy, with the guy from Oregon. The coach there, who I think is actually going to do a good job as an offensive coordinator, Mark Helfrich. I think that the Bears are setting something up nice. So you go out there, you probably join forces with a Calvin Ridley, but they don't have a lot of receivers or talent there. I think that that's a perfect spot for you. Or Carolina. Or the Carolina Panthers is also a great spot. So Chicago, Carolina, the Jets, these are all teams that Tavon can go to and try to be in the slot and try to work there and try to master his game from the slot. So, alrighty, guys, thanks again for listening and joining. We'll see ya.